What is the difference between a panic attack and an anxiety attack? Sounds like the start of a very bad joke. All right, so an anxiety attack, there are very clear differences between the two of them. And the reason it's important to understand the differences is because it will change our response to your teenager, depending on which one they're in. An anxiety attack is gradual on onset. So it will come up and they'll stay in a heightened state of anxiety for a period of time and then they will come down. It's often triggered by something. So it will be triggered by exams, it will be triggered by friendships, something in their life will be going on that will create this heightened level of anxiety. If you've watched the What is Anxiety Really video, we'll talk about the monster, the anxiety monster. That's what's kicking off here. He needs attention. So you will feel restless, or your teenager will feel restless. They'll have thoughts racing through their heads and their muscle tension. They'll be tight and they'll be on edge. So that's because their body is trying to respond to a perceived threat. A panic attack is what your body, the brain is telling the teenager there is a real threat and it will fly that body into a state of panic. It's sudden and it's scary. And if you've ever experienced a panic attack, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. It will mimic a heart attack. So if you try and tell your teenager to do some breathing exercise at that point, or what's going on, what's happening, they can't talk to you. You're adding to the stress that they're already feeling. If you suspect your teenager is having a panic attack, there's only one thing you can do, and that is to stand with them or sit with them, be with them. You can encourage them to do what we call blow breathing, which is where they puff out. So I always tell them to breathe like blow out a candle. So, and if you do that, then they will mimic you. It'll be role modeling. Even if they can't catch it, they can't catch their breath, they will get the rhythm of your breathing and it will bring them down. If your teenager can talk to you, if they can do box breathing or, where they breathe in for 4, out for hold for 4, out for 4, that sort of breathing. If they can count to 4 and then breathe out for 6, they're having an anxiety attack. That's not a pure panic attack because a panic attack will not allow them to have that rational thinking brain. So you are able to notice which one your teenager is having will help you respond to what strategies you tell them or give them to do. I will put this in a real easy downloadable resource so you've got it to hand so you know what to do if your child or your teenager is having a panic attack. They are scary and they mimic a heart attack. It is nothing to be taken lightly. The support and the strategies that I give you in this membership are all best done when your teenager is calm and when you are calm. Because if the heightened brain, if you remember what we've been talking about, the adrenaline pumping and the brain is losing sense of the logic, trying to put strategies in place are not going to happen if they're in the middle of an attack, whether that's an anxiety attack or a panic attack. So when emotions are calm, that's the best time to have support put in place when they can predict, well, they can work on what they're feeling and predict what they're going to do if another anxiety attack happens, or understand that a panic attack is not going to kill them, but this is what I'm going to do if I feel that feeling. How you can help. Isn't this what we all want to know, right? If your teenager is experiencing more anxiety attacks, panic attack, as you know, all we can do is be with them and help mimic the breathing. Lots more we can do when there's an anxiety attack. Spot the signs early. You will start seeing, if you really sort of get in tune with your teenager, you will really start to see when anxiety is playing a part. So they might start to withdraw, they might become more snappy, they might pick fights with people, well, with you. So physical, emotional, and behavior patterns will start to emerge. And if you really understand your teenager behavior, you'll be able to spot these a mile off and you'll be able to catch it. Prevention is so much better than trying to cure it once they're in it. So you will be able to say to them, I've noticed you've been a little bit snappy recently. Anything on your mind? Everything okay? I've noticed that you're in your room a little bit more, and try and get them to talk. We know from the other modules that, well, the parts of the membership, their logic isn't working. They might not be able to verbalize that. But again, go back into the communicating emotions part of the membership, and there's tools in there to really help them bridge the gap into talking. Breathing. When they are feeling a little bit calmer, encourage them to breathe. You can do there's lots of people out there, especially CAMs use it a lot, like breathe in for 4, out for 6. But basically, the process is make sure the exhale is longer than the inhale. And that's all to do with the parasympathetic system. There is a whole other video on the nervous system and anxiety. Go ahead and watch that. So we want to make sure that our exhale is much more longer than our inhale because it will calm the brain, calm the body. Um, The way I do it is breathe in. It doesn't matter how long you breathe in for, but just breathe out really slowly. Grounding techniques using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a really good way, but using the senses. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a therapist, and I don't know what order they're meant to go in, and it freak. I just get all flustered with it. But basically, to use the senses to ground you, I think the technique is like 5 things you can see. Name 5 things you can see. Name 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can taste, whatever order. And that's when I get a bit lost with it all. Basically, it just means start using their senses. So if your teenager is feeling really anxious, sometimes a weighted blanket can be quite good. Sometimes textures can be quite good for them to feel. Salt and sour things are really good at breaking the anxiety cycle. Music, putting some calming music on or music that really energizes them can be quite good. Aromatherapy, smells, things that may bring them comfort. So use their senses to ground them a little bit more. And the butterfly hug is such a lovely one. So what you need to do is encourage your teenager to put their arms, I can't put it on here, put their arms, there we go, on the tops of their arms and just rub. So nice. I need to be on full screen for that. But just to rub the sides, and it will it will start calming them down. It's a lovely thing to do. You can tap each side. Do it now whilst you do it with me. It's really lovely. But yeah, butterfly hug, cross the arms on the top of the arms and just rub up and down. Encourage them to do that. It would be great. I love it. It's great. So there's some techniques to learn. Again, go over to the download. They're all in there and explains a little bit more about why they help. So, what we're looking to do is to firstly acknowledge what's going on for them. What is that anxiety monster trying to tell them? Let's try and figure out what it needs. Let's try and understand what it's looking for. So, if it's exams, if it's friendship groups, that's where we start to acknowledge what's happening for our teenagers. Obviously, do this with them because you need to understand, otherwise, we're making assumptions up. Talk to them, get them to acknowledge what is making them feel the way they are feeling. If they dismiss you, if they tell you to go away, they don't want to do this, it's probably fear that's driving that because it feels too big. Really, really try to encourage them. Say, if you don't want to experience these or you want to feel more in control, it's important that we really start to acknowledge what is going on. Then, in previous videos, I've gone on about the comfort and solution. Here, we offer it in a special way. So, you offer comfort first. You express that you can understand how scary this might feel, how out of control they might feel, and it's okay to feel the way they are feeling. Anxiety is there to keep us safe and protect us, but what is it trying to tell us? So, really get them to be curious. That's more in the solution. But in the comfort stage, offer them a hug, offer them anything that brings them comfort because they're going to feel quite scared, whether it's an anxiety attack or a panic attack. And then offer a solution. So, what are we going to do about this? What do we need to do to make this feel better? A very wise man once said to me, there is a solution to every single problem. And I stand by that. There is an answer to every single issue out there. And as long as we remain open minded, then we can help our teenager find that solution. Do head over to the download section. There's lots of bits and pieces in that will help you with this. Head over to the community as well, because I guarantee you are not the only one managing an anxious teenager at home. So reach out for support if you need it, and I will see you in the next video.